Good afternoon. Your next holiday could cost more as major Canadian airlines announced they'll be adding a fuel surcharge to some vacations.
It comes as gas prices continue to fluctuate as a result of the war in Iran. CTV's John Musselman joins us live outside Pearson Airport this noon hour with all the details and plenty of reaction from passengers. John.
Hi, Michelle. Yes, we did speak to passengers here at Terminal 1. They are concerned about these rising prices. We'll show you some video as well this morning. A lot of the aircraft at Pearson here filling up with the aviation fuel. Now, we did speak to an analyst today who tells us that one of the bigger concerns here is not only the rising price of aviation and jet fuel, but it's actually the supply actually running out. Airlines around the world are really worried about this situation if this war continues. Meanwhile, passengers we talked to say in some cases they're willing to swallow a small increase in a fuel charge to continue on their trip, but others are saying if it continues to rise, they may reconsider what they're doing as we enter the spring and summer travel season. Here's what our analysts had to tell us and some passengers just a short time ago.
It takes about 6 to 7 weeks to move aviation fuel from the Middle East to the various airports around the world. The last ship sailed through the Strait of Hormuz with aviation fuel on February 26th. And that market has been cut off ever since. So, you know, the parts of the world that rely totally on aviation fuel, and I would say Southeast Asia is probably the prime candidate. You'll see places like Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, probably even South Korea, start to declare rationing for aviation fuel. And shortly after that, we'll basically look at, just a shortage of fuel altogether. So prices have gone up, but that's not the big issue.
If it's going up, there's going to be less people traveling, there's going to be less people going places, and I mean, I won't travel as much.
Would you drive rather than fly if you had to go someplace in the future?
I mean, if it warranted driving, I probably would. Yeah, if the price was high enough, I would probably drive over flying, for sure.
100%. I mean, how can not? How can that affect everything? But always when these fuel charges go up, the barrel goes up, we always feel it first at the pump and then at the airport. So let's see what happens.
Well, Nathan, Michelle, we're going to speak to a few more passengers here at the terminal today to get their a sense of what they might do planning their future trips down the road. We'll also speak to a travel agent as well about the importance of insuring your trips because of the uncertainty in the aviation industry because of what's going on with this conflict. Reporting live at Pearson, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Next to Caledon, where a fire at a Peel Public Works yard has caused significant damage.
That fire broke out overnight. Now the Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating. CB24 Steve Ryan is live at the scene with the latest. Steve.
Yeah, Nathan and Michelle, the local fire department responded last night at this Public Works building. And it was a substantial fire. Now, they were able to put it out. There is no report of any injuries as of right now. But given the fact that there is such a substantial financial loss as a result of the wreckage at this fire, it does fall under the mandate of the Ontario Fire Marshal's office, so they are the ones now that will investigate. We do not know whether or not this was set intentionally or not. There are no reports of injuries, thankfully, but the Ontario Fire Marshal's office now will determine the cause, origin, and circumstances surrounding this fire. They'll be assisted by the local fire department as well, and they are asking for anybody with information pertaining to this fire to give their local police detachment a call as well. The OFM are the ones now that will lead this investigation, and of course the local fire department will assist with that investigation, and the local police department as well will be a support unit for the OFM, but they're the ones again that will determine the cause, origin, and circumstances surrounding this fire. No injuries, thankfully, and cause unknown as of right now. I'll send it back to you guys. Thank
you, Steve. Meanwhile, crews in Richmond Hill are dealing with a fire at an abandoned house on Younghurst Road. Flames broke out just before midnight. York police say homes in the area are being evacuated because of heavy smoke. No injuries have been reported.
Time for a live look at the city this afternoon. We've got some sunshine and cloud across the city this hour. Dare I say, with the temperatures quite pleasant as we embark on this Monday, but certainly things are unsettled because we are watching for flurries, the potential for rain. Lindsay Morrison is keeping an eye on things. So far, a great start to the day, Lindsay.
Yeah, not bad in most areas, Michelle. It's interesting. This long weekend has brought just about everything weather-wise, hasn't it? And as we make our way into tonight, many areas are likely to be seeing some flurry activity. We're seeing it right now northwest of the city, in and around Listowel, Elmira, for example. You might be seeing a few snowflakes at this time. Otherwise, many areas enjoying some sun mixed with cloud. Now, these winds fairly calm right now coming out of the west, but we're going to tap into more of a northerly wind for tonight. So not only does that increase our odds of seeing flurries versus showers with colder air ushering in, but the windy weather is going to blow some of that snow around if it does in fact fall. Let's bring it back to this afternoon. It is 4 degrees right now, not bad, although I will remind you that at this time of year we expect to make it now to a high of about 10 degrees. We're expected to fall short of that today. 6 is the forecast daytime high, but this is warmer than what's expected for tomorrow. We'll take you through a full look at the 7-day forecast coming up. But for now, Nathan, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Police are investigating a fatal shooting in Brantford. It happened around 8:15 last night near Erie and Gladstone Avenue. Police found a man at the scene with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say one suspect has been arrested. And police in Barrie are looking for a suspect after a weekend shooting that left one man injured. Investigators say it happened around 2:45 a.m. yesterday outside a club on Dunlop Street. A 30-year-old man was taken to a trauma center in serious but stable condition. Investigators are appealing for anyone with information to come forward.
A motorcyclist is dead after a crash in the East End. Police and paramedics responded around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon for reports that a motorcycle struck a vehicle on Danforth Avenue, west of Danforth Road at Byng Avenue.
Upon investigation, it was discovered that a vehicle was traveling eastbound on Danforth Avenue and attempted a left turn into a plaza. The motorcycle was traveling westbound and struck the turning vehicle. The driver of the motorcycle, a 21-year-old male, was suffering from life-threatening injuries, and he passed away at hospital.
Police are appealing to witnesses as they continue to investigate this crash.
An assault in the Church and Wellesley area is being investigated as a suspected hate crime. Police say it happened just before 12:30 in the morning Saturday. The suspects are described as white men wearing all dark clothing and black ski masks. They fled in a dark-colored sedan. Community activist Curran Stitka says the incident is concerning.
It is, and it falls into a pattern of growing numbers of hate crimes against US LGBTQ folks in the city. We can look at this as an isolated incident, but that's unfortunately not the case. So I think it's just yet another example of the rising tide of anti-queer and trans activity, both in Toronto and across the country.
Police responded to a call for an assault in the Church Street and Alexander Street area. It was reported that the victim was walking on the sidewalk when a vehicle drove past. 2 male suspects yelled homophobic slurs toward the victim. The victim continued walking and noticed that the suspects parked the vehicle. The suspects then exited the vehicle following the victim. The suspects then caught up with the victim and assaulted him. He suffered minor injuries. The suspects do remain outstanding at this time.
The investigation continues. To other news now, a private military-style school in Ontario facing countless lawsuits for allegations of abuse is now also facing a full-scale investigation by police.
It's something former students say should have happened a long time ago, providing hope for justice. CTV's Kamal Karmali sat down with them.
A military-style boarding school in southern Ontario, Robert Land Academy was marketed for nearly 50 years as a place where young boys go to build discipline. Instead, now known for its endless allegations of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse.
We were immediately physically assaulted, put into their uniforms.
Jarrett Holmes, a former student, had been fighting for changes at the school. Now last week, Peel Regional Police said its lead leading an investigation into allegations of child abuse at Robert Land Academy.
I didn't know if we would ever see this moment, and it's really, really heartening to see.
Holmes, one of dozens suing the school. Fraught with legal troubles, Robert Land announced nearly a year ago that it would be shutting down and filed for bankruptcy last summer, saying it was because of declining enrollment. But documents showing the school faced at least $135 million in litigation claims.
The school did declare bankruptcy. Since that time, all of the claims are stayed. And so that means there's no fresh litigation.
Peel Police took over the investigation after the local Niagara Regional Police passed it off to their neighboring police service, citing potential or perceived conflict, given that Niagara police members have had previous employment at Robert Land Academy. That's now cast doubt on the entire investigation for this former student, who we're not identifying due to his claims of sexual abuse at the school.
That's baffling to me. I just don't understand how there could be so much potential corruption in the police force.
Leading to questions from his lawyer on Niagara Police's involvement in the alleged incidents.
So we are hopeful that Peel Police will look into what knowledge Niagara Regional Police had of any of these events, and perhaps didn't take steps at that time.
Former students also demanding changes to the law so that Ontario's private schools have to meet a higher standard. CTV News also reached out to the school's trustees and insurance lawyers, but did not hear back in time for our deadline.
And that was CTV's Kamal Karamali. Still to come, a plea from a local reptile exhibit asking people not to drop off unwanted animals like this snapping turtle. We'll explain just ahead. But first, it's a rematch fans have been waiting for, though unlike last time, the World Series is not on the line.
The LA Dodgers return to Toronto tonight for the first time since winning the World Series here last November. CTV's Rahim Ladhani is live outside Rogers Centre this noon hour. And Rahim, you've been speaking with fans, wondering what the mood's like. I know I'm not quite over it, although we're supposed to turn the page.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, isn't it, Michelle? You know, if anyone thought this would be a regular series in April, all you have to do is come on down here to the Dome, and you'll quickly realize that there is a lot on the line over these next 3 games. We've already met fans from Alberta, BC, and yes, even LA. Everyone down here to witness the so-called rematch. I will tell you, though, the mood hasn't been one of redemption fans are looking for. It's really they're looking for closure. They want that full circle moment because it was a tough pill to swallow. In fact, I remember just standing almost exactly where I am right now on November 1st. There were hundreds of fans behind me. They were watching the game on their phone. Others were peering through the windows trying to catch a glimpse inside as the game was going on. There was so much excitement, and then in a second, in the 11th inning, it all just evaporated. And so for fans, this is the first time that, yes, this is a new season, but a lot of them are wearing the same jerseys, the same hats that they were wearing on November 1st. And so they want to see that Blue Jays team, give them their kudos to say, listen, we're proud of the job that you guys did. But they also want a little bit of revenge, of course, certainly against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's going to be a prideful moment for this team. And the fans we've been speaking with say they're expecting a loud and boisterous atmosphere. Have a listen to what they're telling us.
I'm very sad. It's something I never felt, so it was difficult.
Are you over it? Have you recovered? Do you have closure?
No. I have not seen any videos or something about the World Series.
I was just chatting with a Dodgers fan at the hotel we're staying at, and honestly, our opinion was we were just so proud of the Jays last season, and great series. So very optimistic coming into this year.
I think it's going to be intense, and I think it's going to be a great game. We're down some great players, but Jays are Jays, man. They'll find a way, I hope.
Comeback Kings.
We remember that slogan from last year, the Comeback Kings, right? Max Scherzer is going to be on the mound for the Jays tonight, and we all remember during that last playoff run how exciting he was to watch. And so for anyone coming down to the game over the next 3 games, and also tonight in particular, they're going to enjoy watching that. The Jays, as you heard that one fan mention, they are going through some injuries right now. They've lost 4 in a row, while the Dodgers, they're 7-2, so they've picked up right where they left off. Regardless, it's going to be a fun atmosphere tonight and over the next 3 days. Reporting live, I'm Rahim Ladhani. Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, Rahim. Today is the last day for advanced voting in 2 federal by-elections in Toronto. Voters in the ridings of Scarborough Southwest and University Rosedale have been casting early ballots this weekend. The polls are open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. today. There's also a by-election in Quebec. Wins for the Liberals could give them the seats they need to form a majority government. Election Day is April 13th.
Well, today is also your final chance to vote on the names of the city's new island ferries. Toronto's new electric ferries are gearing up to set sail soon, and voting on their names closes at 11:59 tonight. The city released a short list of 13 options that were selected by a committee of staff and community partners. The list includes Great Lake Dancer, Island Chickadee, Water Strider, and Lady of the Keys. The winning name will be announced later this spring. Over to the Middle East now, where there were new aerial strikes across the region today, more than 5 weeks since the U.S. and Israel began attacking Iran. Israel has released video it says shows jets attacking helicopters at the Tehran airport. The Israeli military said aircraft and additional military infrastructure were also struck in the attacks at 3 airports in the city. An Iranian petrochemical plant elsewhere was also hit. In another development, Iranian state media said its Revolutionary Guard's intelligence chief has died. Israel claimed responsibility for his death.
And in Israel, 4 people were found dead at the site of a missile strike in Haifa. The bodies were recovered after hours of overnight rescue efforts. The warhead that hit the building had not exploded on impact, complicating search and rescue efforts. It's posing a continued threat. Iran also continued attacking its Gulf Arab neighbors today.
The U.S. has not responded, but Iran has rejected the latest ceasefire proposal. It wants a permanent end to the war and guarantees that it won't be attacked again. Tehran says it conveyed the message to the United States through Pakistan, a key mediator. The response came ahead of a Tuesday deadline by U.S. President Trump that would see Iranian energy and infrastructure bombed. Today, he said that deadline is final.
If I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. If it were up to me, I'd take the oil, I'd keep the oil, and would make plenty of money. And I'd also take care of the people of Iran, much better than they've been taken care of. It's been horrible. They've killed 45,000 people as of a month and a half ago. 45,000 protesters. We don't do that. So if I had my choice, I'd keep the oil.
If no deal is reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, Trump says the U.S. will hit Iran's power plants and other infrastructure, setting the country, quote, back to the Stone Ages. Iran has called the threats reckless. Trump will hold a news conference in the Oval Office this afternoon.
Savannah Guthrie has returned to the Today Show for the first time since her mother disappeared more than 2 months ago.
Pretty shot of the sun coming up. Good morning. Welcome to Today on this Monday morning. We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Yes.
Guthrie's co-anchor, Craig Melvin, greeted Guthrie, saying it was good to have her back at home. Despite an intensive search involving thousands of federal and local officials, no sign has been found of Nancy Guthrie. Authorities believe the 84-year-old mother of 3 was taken against her will from her Arizona home on February 1st.
New polling suggests a majority of Canadians think we should explore joining the European Union. A survey found that 1 in 4 respondents thought it would be a good idea to formally join the economic and political bloc of European nations. A further 58% indicated it was a proposal worth looking into. The remainder felt it's a bad idea. The Spark Advocacy survey of 4,000 people was conducted in March. The company says the results suggest Canadians are increasingly open to finding ways to reduce Canada's reliance on the United States.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo remembered his predecessor today during the traditional Easter Monday blessing. The pontiff referred to Pope Francis's profound witness of faith and love. Francis passed away last year on Easter Monday following a long illness. Despite being weakened, he delivered a blessing on Easter Sunday and then toured St. Peter's Square. Today, Pope Leo said it was important that the Easter message of hope derived from Jesus' resurrection after being crucified reached the oppressed.
Well, I know that many are continuing to enjoy a holiday long weekend today, and the weather should cooperate for the most part for kids out of school. Here's a look at what you can expect as far as daytime highs today. So about 6 degrees in most parts of the GTA. That is cooler than normal, but it's warmer than we're going to be tomorrow. Here's a look at the almanac. Now, I want to draw your attention to the record low for tonight. We're not expected to fall quite there. However, it is going to be quite cold overnight tonight and for your Tuesday overnight. But look at that, signs of maybe a pattern change next week. Stay with us. A look at your 7-day forecast is coming up after the break here on CTV News at noon.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
All right, we're coming off a pretty good weekend. We had a few pretty good days in there, hoping that that remains, that trend of warmer weather.
I think this is one of those weeks where you can start to see we're climbing out of it. And there are some, there's some rainy days, but there's some beautiful days.
Yeah, there's a couple of cool ones too. And I mean, this is the time of year where I think so many people are starting to think, do I take off my winter tires? Well, we are becoming a little more consistently on the warm side as this week progresses. But tonight, we've got a chance of flurries. We're going to drop below freezing the next 2 nights and factor in the winds. It's going to feel like the minus double digits. So we're not completely in the clear just yet. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Here's a look at this morning. We had a beautiful sunrise. There was some cloud in the mix as well, creating a bit of a shadow over our city skyline. If you look closely, you can maybe see the CN Tower way back there. It's just going to be one of those days, varying amounts of sun and cloud. And this afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, you might get a few rain showers, you might get a few flurries. And then tonight, our chances of flurries increases. So on the satellite and radar, this is mainly west and north of the GTA. We see some flurry activity, some showers, again, depending on where you are. Winds are still pretty light right now, but they are going to strengthen. And with those strengthening winds, they'll be coming from a northerly direction, and that means a brief return to winter for tonight and for tomorrow. Disturbance moving through, and that brings us a chance of flurries, but in some cases, accumulating snow. So look at this, maybe 9 centimeters in the Huntsville area, fresh 15 centimeters of snow going to be possible around Bancroft, even Peterborough and Caledon seeing roughly a trace to 1 centimeter or 2 of snow. Here's how it plays out on the forecast radar. So into this evening, we're getting into some showers. Late evening, a burst of snow for some. Depending on how this plays out temperature-wise in Toronto, it might still be mild enough for us just to get some rain showers, but it's likely that tomorrow morning, especially Toronto and east, some light snow or at the very least some flurries that don't amount to anything accumulating on the ground look likely. Wednesday is a sunny day. Even Tuesday late in the afternoon, we should get some clearing. A heads up for Thursday, some showers are going to likely move in, but it's also going to be our warmest day of the week. So we'll get to that. It is 9 degrees right now in Windsor. It's 5 at Pearson Airport. That's also expected to be our evening temperature tonight before we drop to about -3 degrees in the overnight and then about -5 by the time the morning progresses tomorrow. 2 degrees for the high tomorrow. That's it. So we are chilly. Wednesday, we're trying to get to seasonal. 10 is where we need to be this time of year. So Thursday, looking nice and warm. However, there is a chance of showers that day, and we're going to end the week on a little bit of an unsettled note with some showers Friday. But temperatures in the double digits, which is nice to see as we make our way into next weekend. That's your look at the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next to a warning from a popular animal attraction in the area.
Reptilia Vaughan is urging the public not to abandon unwanted reptiles at their facility. A Florida snapping turtle named Gilberto was left in a bin in their parking lot a few days ago. The reptile Zoo warns leaving the animals exposed to the elements, hot and cold, is dangerous. Reptilia's Ashley Maka says they currently have 141 turtles across 3 locations and are at capacity for this type.
So we have reached out to PAWS. We do have him in a temporary holding area. He is a quarantine animal at this point. He can carry some parasites and fungal infections and bacterial infections that could harm the other turtles. So we're going to make sure that he's nice and healthy and good to go. but reach out to organizations and talk to them first before leaving them at their doorstep. These guys can live to be over 50 years old. A lot of turtles outlive us. He will likely be alive by the time I'm retiring. And he still needs a home, but it's very important to make sure you find a home that has space for them.
She says this is the second time this year someone has abandoned an animal outside their facility, and she warns people that turtles do not always make great pets because in some cases, as she said, they may outlive their human owners. And still with animals, rabbit sightings are more common this time of year.
CTV's Allison Bamford has more on rescue efforts in Saskatoon.
Out of a travel carrier. Let's go. And into an exercise pen. These bunnies are basking in the sun. They were once someone's pets before Donna Barth took them in.
These are all tame pet rabbits that are found on the streets of Saskatoon.
This time of year, the River Hayes Street Rabbit Rescue sees a rush of bunnies come into their care.
This is Freddie.
Freddie is one of 8 rabbits rescued in the last 3 weeks. Then there's Tanisha and siblings Egg and McMuffin, who came in this winter.
And they're just little 5-week-old bunnies with no winter coat, found in a snowbank.
In the last 8 years, Barth has helped rescue 145 rabbits, abandoned by their owners. She's managed to rehome most of them.
People see the wild ones outside and say they can survive outside, and then they just let them go.
But unlike wild jackrabbits, these domestic bunnies can't survive harsh conditions.
I see them very similar to having a dog or a cat. They make really good pets when you understand kind of how they work.
Pet rabbits need space to roam and 24-hour access to feed. They end up in the streets, Barth says, when people bite off more than they can chew.
There's a lot of care that goes into looking after rabbits, and I think it gets to be too much.
Stray rabbits are a problem in many provinces, posing a risk of overpopulation. Some parks in Vancouver are overrun with invasive rabbits that the city says are the offspring of abandoned pets. And feral rabbits have been reported across Alberta.
It's pretty sad to see.
Now, these cute critters can seem like a great Easter present, but Barth says it's important people do their research before committing.
Let's go.
Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
After the break, the latest from space. We'll check in on the Artemis II mission on what's expected to be a historic day. Plus, we're joined by CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin to talk more about the mission. It's a big day for the Artemis II crew.
Yes, today's the day they will complete their lunar flyby.
We noticed we entered the lunar sphere of influence about an hour ago, and sure enough, we are now falling to the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone.
Today, Canadian Jeremy Hansen and his 3 American crewmates will venture farther into space than anyone before, surpassing a record set by Apollo 13 in 1970. The astronauts will take turns observing and photographing geological features on the moon, like impact craters and ancient lava flows. And tomorrow, the Orion capsule will leave what's called the lunar sphere of influence en route back to Earth. And here on Earth, few people are more excited about today than our very own Dan Riskin, who joins us now to talk about the Artemis mission and maybe some other things if we've got time. So the real exciting moment is actually happening quite soon from now.
Listen, Jeremy Hansen woke up, I would say got out of bed, but unvelcroed himself from the wall an hour and a half ago. And so you can imagine, I don't know how he went to sleep last night, but he must have. And so he got the wake-up call around 11 our time and looked out that window and saw a great big moon. So at closest approach, it's going to be like if you were holding a basketball at the end of your arm. That's how big that circle is in the sky. And today at 1:56 local time, that is when that record will be broken. That's when these 4 humans will go farther from the Earth than any human has gone since 1970, and they'll keep going. They keep going out until about 7 p.m. when they get to their maximum distance from the Earth, and that'll be more than 400,000 kilometers from the Earth. And the numbers are just impossible to put your head around, but it's just an exciting time.
It just seems like everything they're doing is important and a big deal. Are there any highlights, anything that sticks out for you?
Yeah, well, one of the highlights is what was just mentioned in that sound up right before we got started was this big business of the moon's sphere of influence and entering the moon's sphere of influence, and then after this is done, leaving that sphere of influence. And what that means is, you know, as we stand here on Earth, we are stuck to the Earth because of Earth's gravity, but moon's gravity is also pulling on us. It's just really weak. If you were standing on the moon's gravity holds you down, and the Earth is pulling on you, but it's just really weak. As you make this trip, there's a place where the moon's gravity becomes stronger than the Earth's gravity, where you cross that line. If they were the same size, it would be the midpoint, but they're not the same size. So you have to get pretty close to the moon before that happens. But that's what happened last night while we were all sleeping. And so now, instead of decelerating as they move away from the Earth that's pulling on it, they're starting to accelerate as they get closer to the moon. The moon is going to pull them, grab them, slingshot them around the back, and then for 40 minutes, we'll have no contact with them, and then it'll throw them back at the Earth, and Friday they'll splash down in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, I hope it all goes well. Is there anything we might, so we're not going to be seeing them when they're in this dark side of the moon. Is there anything we might, once they emerge, learn immediately or see? Or I'm just so curious.
I know. It's going to be the best thing to watch that you can't see. I mean, it's going to be very exciting. So close to 7 p.m. is when the real action is happening. Just before that, they will disappear behind the far side of the moon. They'll go silent. They can't hear us. We can't hear them. And, you know, we'll just all be watching that other side for them to come around. I'm sure they'll be fine. But as they come around, they're going to see Earthrise. They're going to see the Earth come up over the horizon of the moon, which, you know, there was that famous shot by Apollo 8 astronauts of exactly that. It's just this great moment that everybody's looking forward to. And then we'll have contact with them. It'll take a couple hours before they start sending back all the files, all the pictures they've been taking. But that whole time that they're on that backside, they'll be just taking pictures. And this is one of the things that's so exciting about going to the moon and setting up a base there, is that you can't hear the Earth chatter, the radio waves, from the far side of the moon. And so it's the perfect place for a listening station to listen to space. We have all these satellites, or sorry, not satellites, but all these radar stations on Earth listening to the Big Bang and listening for a signal from space and all that stuff. But they're constantly bombarded with noise from all the radio waves that we send around on our planet and cell phone towers and all that. If we put one on that far side of the moon, where they're going to be today, you would have silence and you would be able to listen to the universe. And so that's one of the plans that humans have for setting up on the moon. And this is just an illustration of how quiet that place is.
Amazing. Is the moon's gravitational pull a concern to pull the craft right in?
It has been exactly accounted for, and it is just exactly what it needs to be. And so if it weren't there, they'd be hurtling into space and we'd never see them again. So thank goodness for the moon. And, you know, what's so exciting, and I keep coming back to this, but when they launched for the moon, they did not point at the moon and go. They pointed for the spot in space with no moon in it, and the moon has been on its trajectory around in its orbit. And so the moon arrives just in time. It does this, it grabs the spacecraft with its gravity, throws it back at the Earth, and then keeps on going on its merry way. And so they've done the physics on it, and the burns have been just perfect. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see.
It's amazing that there are minds on this planet that can figure out these calculations and that they can go off without a hitch at this stage.
Yes.
Now, a lot of kids are watching this, and hopefully, there's not kids in school today, but hopefully, you know, classrooms are capitalizing on this, and it definitely has the potential to inspire future generations. And there is a little bit of research. Maybe we should leave people with a bit of research on what kind of mindset it takes.
Yeah, you know, this is absolutely. I just keep going back to my kids and talking to them about this mission and why it matters. And their teachers are doing a fabulous job, and I know teachers across the GTA and across Canada are doing a wonderful job. But a new paper shows that for teenagers, motivation and enthusiasm are great. Believing in yourself is great. Having grit is great. But the one characteristic that really correlates with better grades is believing that when you work hard, you can get better at something, a growth mindset. And so as we talk to our kids about what Jeremy Hansen's accomplished and what we might do with our lives, kids or us as grown-ups, it's that growth mindset, the idea that if you work hard, that's how you accomplish things. They don't just happen.
Another great lesson from out of all of this. CTV science and tech expert Dan Riskin, a pleasure, and we'll see you, I guess, when this capsule returns.
Yeah, we'll keep talking, for sure. I'll be here.
Yay. Take care, Dan.
Well, to other news, after one of the worst wildfire seasons on record last year, some Canadians are taking steps to prepare themselves ahead of wildfire season.
CTV's Alex Carper reports on what those preps look like.
Noelle Drimmy is already preparing for what could lie ahead after being forced to evacuate during last summer's punishing wildfire season.
Having a to-do list, a pre-fire or pre-evacuation to-do list is definitely something we'll do again this year.
While trying to remain optimistic, she is also putting contingency plans in place to avoid the chaos she and her family experienced just months ago.
The reality of what happened last year is still very fresh in our minds. And so, yeah, we're definitely thinking ahead as to how we will prepare.
Canada's 2025 wildfire season was among the worst on record. Over 85,000 people were forced to evacuate, including more than 30,000 in Manitoba. David Monius from Pimachikamak Cree Nation is fighting for his community to have proper firefighting resources to respond quicker.
One of the things that we wanted to see was that to ensure that there's early detection and early response to fires. Doesn't matter if they're small, whatever they consider to be small, they should be tackling those fires right away before they become big kind of problem.
Early indications suggest there is potential for another active wildfire season. While it's still too soon to make definitive predictions, key factors such as drought conditions are raising concern among some experts.
So we're starting from the same point, though it was exceedingly hot and dry and times windy last year. Whether that repeats will determine what will happen.
Flanagan says much of the prairie provinces and the Northwest Territories and Yukon are already seeing warning signs.
A lot of the things we're seeing suggest that midsummer to later summer may be the most active part of our fire season this year.
For Drimmy, preparation is key.
Being prepared and being informed, I think, is the best thing that we can do.
Adding that preparation could make all the difference in keeping her family safe. Alex Carper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There's a new scam out there that might catch you off guard.
Fraudsters are sending texts claiming people are eligible for a milk settlement. CTV's Kathy Lee on what to watch out for.
This message is showing up on phones across Canada, claiming people are eligible for a milk settlement, but there is no such case. Don Stoneman received a text saying it caught his attention.
I looked at it and I thought it was kind of interesting.
A link is included leading to a website. Chris Herman, who also got the message, says it looked legitimate at first.
The site mimicked a federal government site. They were asking for my credit card information and all that kind of stuff, and then I went, no, that's not it, not good.
A cybersecurity expert says scammers are taking real class action cases like the bread price fixing settlement and turning them into phishing campaigns. They're even inventing settlements that don't exist while leveraging trust from real ones. However, there are simple steps people can take to protect themselves.
Just Google the name of the lawsuit. Don't click on any links in any emails or any text messages and whatever. Go to the source.
According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, cyber scams, including fake settlement texts, are part of a much larger problem, with Canadians losing more than $2.4 billion since 2022, much of it online, and likely only a fraction of the total, as just 5 to 10% of cases are reported. A class action lawyer says when real settlements are paid, it's usually by e-transfer.
All they need is your email address. So they don't need to ask for your bank account information. They don't need to ask for a credit card.
Neither Stoneman or Herman lost money.
I'm 70 years old, but I don't think I'm especially susceptible to scams. I think I'm fairly sharp.
But they say the experience is a warning for others. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Higher beef prices are turning up the heat on one of PEI's most beloved spring traditions.
The island-wide burger competition is normally a big draw, and restaurants are hoping people don't lose their appetite. CTV's Maria Saru has more.
Sizzling on the grill, a 7-ounce patty from a local supplier, topped with brie and mozzarella, shallots, and grape relish. This burger is Chef Jared Acorn's creation and his restaurant's entry into an island-wide competition.
A little nervous right now, just we're the new place in town.
Burger Love is back for its 15th year with more than 114 restaurants in the running for the highest-rated hamburger. Some are keeping a close eye on costs, with the price of fresh and frozen beef up nearly 14% compared to last year, according to the latest Consumer Price Index data. That factored into the $18 price tag.
It's something
we're always mindful of course, but we still want to make things accessible for the consumer. There's a happy middle ground there somewhere. We're happy with the price point we landed at.
And participating pays off, says the campaign's co-creator, not just for restaurants, but across the economy.
So even napkin sales go up for people. You want cheese on your burger? That's going to add to your bottom line as a dairy producer.
Last year, more than 113,000 burgers were sold, and that's with fewer businesses on board. It was a record number of sales and donations, with $1 from every meal going to Anderson House, a provincial emergency shelter.
So it allows us to be flexible and responsive, to look at what the gaps are and how to fill them.
Burger Love runs until April 30th, giving Islanders the rest of the month to dig in and give back. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
As we told you earlier in the newscast, it'll be a World Series rematch tonight at Rogers Centre, but the Blue Jays are hoping to turn things around after being swept by the White Sox.
The Blue Jays are down to their final strike. And that is the ball game.
This was the final out of the game, marking another disappointing series for the Jays. The White Sox took the game 3-0, winning all three against Toronto. To make matters worse, the Jays lost another player to injury as Addison Barger left the game in the 6th inning with an apparent ankle injury.
After a dominant win over the Grizzlies on Friday, the Raptors were facing the Celtics in Boston yesterday.
The Raptors have turned over the Celtics 8 times. Here's CMP with a monster slam.
The Raps leading in the first half, but the Celtics rallied and outscored them by 11 in the fourth to win the game, 115-101. A tough loss for the Raptors, who are fighting for a top 6 spot in the Eastern Conference to avoid the play-in tournament. Their next game is at home tomorrow against the Miami Heat.
New champions have been crowned in women's college basketball. UCLA won the tournament for the first time with a surprising blowout win over the University of South Carolina. It's the first title for the women's team. UCLA's men's team has won a record 11 championships.
Cadeau off the Morris screen, tries again and hits again.
The Michigan Wolverines will be taking on the Connecticut Huskies in tonight's men's final. Michigan beat Arizona Saturday and is now looking for its first title in 26 years. UConn beat Illinois on Saturday as well. Tip-off tonight is 8:50.
Today, Toronto plays host to the debut of a new professional curling league. The Rock League has 6 franchises and features top international names like Brad Jacobs, Rachel Homan, and Carrie Einerson. There will be a new team format combining men's and women's fours with mixed doubles. 3 matchups are scheduled on opening day as all teams begin a round robin towards the league's first championship.
After the break, meet the Toronto writer who's walking to every single Toronto Public Library branch to honor her late mother's love of literature. Finally, this noon hour, the story of a Toronto writer pounding the pavement across the city.
She's embarking on a 10-day journey, walking more than 300 kilometers to visit all 100 public library branches, inspired by her late mother's love of reading. CTV's Mike Walker has her story.
With every step, Marcy Stepek will be walking with a purpose and in memory of her late mother.
She would have loved every single part of this.
The writer is raising money for a place that she says they were both passionate about.
Libraries, reading, that's always been like our love language.
Eunice passed away on April 7th, 2025 from cancer. And on the 1-year anniversary of her death, Stepek will begin a walk to each of Toronto's 100 library branches, with a fundraising goal of $5,000 for the Library Foundation, supporting programs that focus on seniors.
They've created programs that are designed to tackle loneliness among seniors and offer community and offer connection.
Programs Eunice benefited from in her final years.
The library services actually accommodated her, so rather than her going out to the libraries, they were able to bring services to her. In fact, a week Before she died, when we were talking about her end-of-life care, she reminded me to return her library books so that other people could enjoy them.
Stepek hopes to complete the trek in just 10 days, rain or shine. It's a lot of ground to cover, spanning some 300 kilometers.
Part of this is I needed somewhere for my grief to go. This is someplace to go. It's in a place that my mom loved, I loved.
Every day, she will be dropped off at a branch to start the journey. Stepek estimates she will walk some 30 kilometers per day.
Depending on the day, I might be hitting 13 to 17 branches.
And will have this library passport in hand to log each stop.
There's a lot of stamps.
Something she discovered with her mother years ago that inspired this initiative.
It spurred the idea that we would go into all 100 branches and have librarians stamp our passport for us. When she passed, I realized I'm actually going to do this on her behalf.
Donations can be made on the foundation's website. For Stepek, it's a personal and physically demanding journey to honor her mom and say thank you to Toronto Public Libraries. Mike Walker, CTV News.
Great story and no excuse to visit your local library.
I love that. And today, I mean, right now it's a good time to get outside, but I think you might want to curl up with a book this afternoon or even tonight when it gets really cold.
Absolutely. Maybe tomorrow morning as well, although I think many are heading back to work and school tomorrow morning. Bundle up if that's you, because it's going to be a chilly start to Tuesday. In fact, we already have a few flurries flying in places today, extending back toward Kincardine and then south toward the Georgetown area. You might be seeing a few flakes. Again, this isn't expected to amount to accumulating snow, at least not here in the GTA, but it's April and not everyone wants to see weather like that. Here's a look at tonight's expected low, about -3 for the overnight, but becoming even colder into the early morning hours, the after dawn hours tomorrow. So maybe dropping as low as -5 degrees, +2, the high for tomorrow. I do expect some clearing in the afternoon, so that will be nice after the chance of flurries in the morning. And then Wednesday and Thursday are looking quite nice. Thursday especially is going to be mild, and then we're going to finish off the work and school week with a few showers on Friday. Nathan and Michelle.
All right, not too bad. Thanks, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.